Hi, welcome to the Crafts channel. My name's Corinne Bradd, and today I want to show you how to make a beanbag for your lap tray. So whether you're sitting on the sofa eating your dinner, whether you want to sort your buttons out, whether you've got an elderly relative that finds it difficult to sit with a lap now, I haven't stolen at all, I've borrowed this lovely retro lap tray, which was actually made in Thetford in April 1972, they've been so kind enough to tell me. I've put some Velcro on the back of it, and I've made a nice plump polystyrene bead-filled cushion that you simply pop the lap tray onto. It sticks there with the Velcro so that your knees can go underneath it. You can angle it however you like, depending on how that person's sitting. And then if you need to wash it, it will just come away from the beanbag very easily. So I'm going to put this one somewhere and show you how easy it is to make. I've got a tray here. This is a tray I decorated earlier and didn't know what to do with, and now I do know what to do with it. And I've got some lovely peacock fabric here as well. So you want folded together fabric. Put your tray on top, and you need to leave, well, depending on the depth of the tray that you want, you need to leave perhaps 6 centimetres of fabric all the way around. This is a very rough measurement. But the great thing is about a beanbag lap tray is you don't have to be that accurate. Just going to chop this. So now I've got my fabric with my 5 centimetre overlap all the way around. And before you go any further, what you need to do is you need to stitch on your Velcro. Now I would suggest sewing it on the shorter length of your tray. Sorry, got sidetracked then because my Velcro is rucking up. And also what I would recommend is you sew the fluffy bit of your hook and loop fastener to your fabric, because it's much easier to stitch through, and also if you put it through the washing machine, it's much less chance of you getting other fibres caught up on it. So let's just pop that there. You can judge by eye where you need your Velcro to go. I'm just going to pop a pin through one layer of that fabric. Don't forget this important step, because it's very difficult to sew this Velcro on at any other point in time, as I have found to my cost. So let's just pin that in place a little bit more accurately. Right, so let's just run this through the sewing machine. And if you line up the right hand edge of your foot with the outer edge of your Velcro, and then you can just move your needle across so that it stitches quite close to the edge without you having to keep an eye on it really. And you can get hook and loop fastener that has an adhesive side to it as well. I didn't have any. If you don't have any, it's a very simple solution to that. Get yourself some double-sided tape. And fix it to the back. I'll be honest, this isn't a particularly heavy duty double-sided tape. This is the kind that you would use in card making. And what I probably will do with that tray is actually use a glue to fix the Velcro on the back of it permanently. So if you tape the back and just very lightly lay it over the furry side in the right position. The same with the other bit. And the reason I'm doing this at the beginning is because it's much easier to put your tray on there and line it up with the material being flat than it is once you've got your beans in there. Because also with this tray has got a ridge underneath, so what I'm going to have to do is flip that over and press the Velcro down before peeling away this part, and then you can rub down, and then you know it's going to fit accurately when it's filled. So back to the sewing part. I'm going to sew this right sides together, and I'm going to give myself about a 1 centimetre seam allowance. It's bigger than I normally would, but we're filling this with polystyrene beads, and if there's any chance of fraying, you don't want your seams to split and your polystyrene beads to go everywhere. So I'm going to leave a gap in one short edge, about a 5 centimetre gap in the middle. Let's just put my needle back in the centre and run through this very quickly. So we've sewn around all three sides. This side didn't need stitching, obviously, because it's on a fold. And then before we turn it inside out, I'm just going to put box corners in this so that you've got some depth to your beanbag. And it's the same way as you would do it in a bag. You manipulate your fabric so that the edge lines line up, as it were. And if you can find your 45-degree angle on your cutting mat, let's draw a line 5 centimetres up, because I've given it a 5 centimetre overlap. So draw it across like that and stitch it. And then again, normally if you do a bag or anything like that, you'd cut that corner off. Bearing in mind the nature of polystyrene beans and small gaps in fabric, I would leave those corners on, because nobody will know. So I'm just going to do the same with all my other corners. Final corner. And then also, what I'm going to do before I go any further is find my open gap. And you've seen my cheating before with just tacking open my turning gaps with a little bit of dry glue stick to make sure that they don't get overly stretched when you turn things inside out, and you get a much cleaner line when you come to top stitch it. So pop your fingers in the gap, grab your furthest corner and pull the whole thing the right way out. Just push out your feed sack corners or box corners. And then comes the fun part. I'm going to have to stand up for the fun part. And also, if you've got any children in the house, can I advise that you keep them well away from this fun part, because otherwise you're going to be picking up polystyrene beans for possibly the rest of their teenage life. Get yourself a piece of paper and roll it into a cone. And let's just clip that cone at the top and pop your cone. I want to make that a little bit wider at the bottom. Pop your cone inside your turning gap. And if you can, it's well worth, where you've rolled that paper, just putting a clip on that roll to hold it in there. Because this is the kind of job where actually it would help if there was another person to help. But it all depends if you're the kind of person that sees help as a help or help as a hindrance because they don't do what you ask them to. Easiest way I've found, if you get yourself an old jug, this is a jug that I've used for all kinds of things. It's not very nice looking. Also has a certain amount of static on it. I've got a big bag of beans down here. If you pour the beans in your cone down to your bag. Okay, so I've half filled this bean bag, and to check how full it is, use some sewing clips to securely close up that gap before you lay your bean bag flat, like so. Oh yeah, that's all right, that's enough. There's enough there for it to stick to my tray. Oh, I must remember not to bang this tray down so hard. It'll stick to my tray, and once my knees are underneath it, it will sit quite happily at any angle you like. When you come to sew that gap up, I'd suggest using a double thickness of thread and a small oversew stitch. And rest assured, I will be sewing that up. I'm not going to take those clips off and forget that this is full of beans. But there you go. Quite handy if you have someone that is bedbound or in a chair, needs a higher surface to perhaps eat their dinner off than their lap. Or, you know, you can do it with a massive tray. If you want to do jigsaws, you can sort your beads out. It's great for kids that are ill in bed because they can just sit in bed and perhaps do some drawing. And it is just made from 2 rectangles of fabric. And I don't know what weight polystyrene beads there are. There seem to be thousands of beads at one point. But some polystyrene beans just to pop in the bean bag. So I hope you like that demonstration. I hope that's of some use to you, and it will be of some use to somebody that you know. Please do check subscribe, and then we can inform you every time there's a new demonstration coming up. You get a notification. And we've got lots of other demos coming up. In the meantime, please keep safe, and thank you very much for watching. Take care.